So in anticipation of Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, we've got a little bit of extra content that you can get on D&D Beyond, and that's Thieves Gallery. And this is essentially stat blocks for a bunch of the characters that you will see in the movie, right? Can you run me through what we're going to find?
Absolutely, yes. So the Thieves Gallery includes stat blocks for the Bard, Edgin, the Barbarian, Holga, the Druid, Doric, the Sorcerer, Simon. That's sort of the core party. And then you've got Zenk, the Paladin, who lends an experienced hand.
Forge Fitzwilliam, played by Hugh Grant in the film, is kind of our party rogue.
And then Safina, the Wizard, who is kind of a party member antagonist. That's how I would put that.
How was the experience of taking these characters from the movie and statting them out? This has to be a uniquely strange experience for you.
Yeah, so when it was decided that we were going to represent these characters in our game, we hit upon the idea of doing them up as stat blocks because we thought the most likely use that they're going to see in a D&D campaign is as NPCs who show up. You know, the DM can include these characters and have them pop up in the ongoing campaign. Because in a D&D campaign, the players have their heroes already figured out.
Right.
So when we tried to figure out how we're going to build the stat blocks, the first thing that my team did was we interfaced with another team at Wizards, the franchise team, who had already gone through the exercise of creating character sheets for each of these characters so that they could actually be played, almost like pre-generated characters. And so we got our hands on those character sheets, which were sort of our most reliable indication of what these characters actually do in the movie.
Right.
And all of this is happening before we've actually seen the movie or even read the script. So the character sheets really were our first guide. I handed off those character sheets to one of our designers, Dan Dillon, who took a first crack at creating the stat blocks. And then another one of our designers, Ron Lundeen, came in behind him and did the development work on the mechanics, just to make sure everything is kind of smooth and easy, so that these things are easy to use at the table for the DM. And then we had an editor, Adrian Ng, come in, and he did sort of a copy editing cleanup pass. But while the stat blocks were being designed and developed and edited, I was finally allowed to take a look at sort of the shooting script,
Right.
and compare it to what we had on paper. And there were a couple places where the script and the statistics were not perfectly in a line, so we adjusted. And then a group of us were able to go off and see an early screening of the movie. And once we saw that, there were enough differences, little things between the movie that we saw and the script that I read,
Right.
that we went back in again and did some further changes. And then once the stat blocks were in a close to final state, we shared it with a bunch of other folks, both on the franchise team and outside of our studio, people intimately familiar with the film and how it was made, to make sure that everything that we're saying felt right for the character. Now, we do have some stuff in the stat blocks that we don't see in the movie. And that's because, the movie can only show you a certain amount of what characters' capabilities are.
Right.
But there are some things that we were able to, little flourishes we could add so that the DM can surprise the players
Right.
at the table if these characters are actually, used.
Yeah, I'm very curious about all the little special abilities or attacks and stuff like that are going to be in here. And
Yeah.
I know I've mentioned this before, but I still would love it if people were sensitive to how high their charisma was or their strength. No, I should have been an 18.
Or a little friendly competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is my character's charisma score lower than this other
Probably
character's
between the
charisma
paladins.
score?
Yeah, the paladin and the bard. Yeah.
That would have been a funny thing. No, our goal really was to be faithful to the characters, add a few extra little stuff that the DM can play with,
Right.
and then make them easy to run.
Right.
A DM has a lot to do during a game. We don't want the stat block to be a chore, so we make decisions in the stat block to help things go smoothly at the table.
Yeah.
But you'll see when you start comparing the movie and the stat block, when you have both and you've seen both, you'll see where the similarities are and what we tried to do in the stats to reflect what we see in the movie.